All right, we are going to be talking about the long-term kind of build-up that's going to lead to World War I. Now, right here in front of you, you're going to have a map of Europe. This is going to be how Europe looked with the individual country borders in 1914, the year that World War I is ultimately going to break out. Okay, so the big country we need to talk about first and foremost is Germany. Okay, Germany is located right through here. Germany and France, right over here. These two countries have a really bad history, and they do not like each other one little bit. And this is going to really culminate in 1871. Germany, again, this country right here, at this time period was in a really kind of not strong place. Germany was not unified. Instead, you had a bunch of these little tiny countries that all spoke German. They were all German in identity. However, they were not unified together. Thus, the German people were very, very weak. Otto von Bismarck, the leader of Germany at this time, a leader in Germany, decided that he was going to unify all these German-speaking countries, all these little tiny German-speaking states together into one. And then you would have one powerful, strong Germany. However, he had really no way of doing that. So what he does is he starts a war with the French. Now, in starting a war with the French, he realizes that he's going to need soldiers, and this is going to increase that German nationalism, and it's really going to allow the Germans to come together and form one strong, solid country. Now, the only problem with this one for the French is the French are going to lose a chunk of land on the German-French border right about here, and this chunk of land is going to be called Alsace-Lorraine. Now, in the eyes of the French, the Germans had started a war with them for no real reason other than to try to unify their country, and stole a chunk of land that the French view is French land. Now, justifiably, the French are really not very happy with this, and this is going to be causing a number of problems, okay? Then, we're going to skip forward to about 1906. At this time period, we've got Great Britain, okay? These people right up here, they're going to start building warships. Now, this is problematic for virtually every other country here because they don't have the same quality of warship. They realize that the British now have pretty much all the power should the British want to do this. And this is going to be a real threat to other countries right through here. Now, additionally, we need to look back at imperialism going on up in the late 1800s and still continuing into the 1900s. The country that, by and large, has the most number of colonies at this time period is going to be Great Britain. Germany fears from this. They do not like this, and Germany is going to start trying to take over their own colonies as well and try to create a number of colonies themselves, and they're really going to do this to a large degree. However, they're not going to have near as many colonies as the British do. So the Germans are going to have as much power because they're going to start producing stuff within their country, a strong economy, just like the British have, and a lot of real working potential. However, they don't have the sheer number of colonies that the British have. As you can imagine right through here, the British and the Germans are going to be getting into a little bit of a rivalry, and that's going to be causing a series of different problems going on within these countries, okay? Additionally, at this time period, we're going to have the French over here and the Russians over here. They're going to sign a mutual agreement, and this mutual agreement is simply stating that if the Germans, right here in the middle, invade either into France or into Russia, the other side is going to get involved in the conflict. Now, the one thing that the Germans fear more than anything during this time period is a two-front war. Now, what is a two-front war? That simply means that you're going to have battles going on either side. You're going to have battles over here, and you're going to have battles over here. Now, the problem with this, you could have the entire French military focused right through here. However, if the Germans put their entire military on that same line as well, then the Russians can come in over here. So the Russians can have their full military here, the French have theirs over there, and meanwhile, the Germans are going to have to be splitting their military apart, which is going to make it much more problematic for the Germans to actually be successful in the war. The French and the Russians realize this. They also realize that the Germans do have a history of invading into other countries, starting these conflicts. They want to find a way of making sure that does not happen. They realize that by forming a mutual agreement right through here, stating that if one country is attacked, the other one will also join the war, you can really deter the Germans from starting a war with either country. This is going to be continuing to go on. Now, the Germans additionally realize that this is problematic. They don't like this, so they're going to form an alliance down here with Austria-Hungary, okay? Austria-Hungary is going to come in here, and then the Italians are going to get involved in this one as well. Italy, much like Germany, had recently been a bunch of different broken up countries, and and they're going to unify together right through here. Now, the Germans and the Austro-Hungarians are going to align for a number of reasons. One, geographically, they've got very similar features. Number two, culturally, they're very, very similar. They speak German in Austria as well, so it's just kind of a natural alliance that's going to be going on down here. Now, Austria-Hungary is going to be the key player in this entire conflict when it comes to starting it. Austria-Hungary is wanting to expand their empire, and they're going to be pushing down this way, okay? They're not going to push up into Russia, because they realize that if they push up into Russia, you're going to get the French involved in this one, and this is going to be problematic. You're not going to push up into Germany because Germany is your ally, so the only other way you can push to expand your empire is down. Now, this area right down here is called the Balkans. This is a place that throughout history has a series of different conflicts, and that's going to be exactly the way it's going to be happening with this conflict as well. The Austro-Hungarians are going to try to push down even further, and these countries like Serbia, which is going to be this guy right down here, really does not like what's going to be happening, and they're going to be feeling for their Serbian nationals, okay, Serbian individuals who are no longer living in Serbia, but are actually living up here in Bosnia, which is a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This is going to be problematic, and it's going to increase that series of nationalism. Okay, then at this time, we're going to have the British go in. They're going to get involved in this treaty with the French and with the Russians as well, stating basically that if you mess with either one of these guys, we're going to have some problems right through here. This is primarily because the French, or the Germans and the British really don't like each other. They're fighting and trying to gain more territory, trying to be the major power in the world at this time period, and this is going to consistently keep on happening. Then, on June 28th, 1914, everything kind of just explodes. Okay, you've got this powder keg in Europe. You've got militarism going on where all these countries are building their alliances. They're building their alliances not to really attack each other, but as a way of preventing someone else from attacking. So they're all kind of on edge and think the other side's about to attack them. Because of this, they're going to be focusing on really building up their military, which is called militarism, where you invest a lot of money into your military and building it up. It's simply a way of saying, hey, you come mess with us, you're going to get the whole force of our entire military. You really don't want to deal with that, so therefore, it's actually going to kind of stop a lot of these things. But then, as I stated, June 28th, 1914, down in Sarajevo, okay, which is a city in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, current day part of Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Archduke, Franz Ferdinand, and his pregnant wife are going to go down there and try to visit. And the reason they're going to visit is there's a lot of tensions going on in Sarajevo. There's a lot of Serbian nationals right through here who do not like the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They feel they're going to be going into Serbia and trying to expand. They want to be their own country. They do not want to be Austro-Hungarian. So, the Archduke, who's kind of the equivalent of the Crown Prince, okay, he is the successor to the leader of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He comes down here, and his goal of doing this is trying to quell all these kind of tensions in this conflict, trying to calm the situation down. However, this is going to lead to some serious problems. His driver is going to make a wrong turn. Meanwhile, we've got a man by the name of Gavrilo Princip. He is a 19-year-old Serbian man who is very, very zealous and proud to be Serbian. He's very nationalistic, and he really does not like the Austro-Hungarians. He's a member of a movement called the Black Hand movement. Now, the Black Hand was a nationalist organization which was trying to form a Serbian independence from Austria-Hungary, and they wanted to assassinate the leaders of Austria-Hungary. Previously, the same morning, they had attempted an assassination on Franz Ferdinand, and that failed. Franz Ferdinand just kind of brushed it off and kept living his day like normal. However, one of the assassins was Gavrilo Princip, sitting in a cafe, sees the Archduke come driving by. He runs up to the car, which was open top, pulls out his pistol, fires, kills Franz Ferdinand, kills his pregnant wife as well. This is going to be very, very problematic. The Austrians, okay, blame this on Serbia. They're saying that Serbia, you knew this was going to happen, you encouraged this, and you did nothing to stop it. The Serbians are going to play dumb and say, hey, I really had no clue what was going on here. In reality, the Serbians really were kind of behind this, and it's going to be going on right through here. So what's then going to be happening is Austria is going to give Serbia an ultimatum. And when I say an ultimatum, it's like, you need to do this, 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 and this. If you don't do that, we are going to start a war with you. Now, this ultimatum was incredibly unrealistic. There was no way the Serbians were actually going to agree to that ultimatum. which is then going to lead to even a larger series of problems. Also around the same time, the Germans, who are Austria-Hungary's ally, are basically going to give Austria-Hungary a blank check. Now, this blank check is what it does. It simply states that whatever you need to fight in a war, because it looks like you're about to get into a pretty good-sized war, we will support you, whatever you need. It does not matter how much it's going to cost. We are willing to give this to you right down here. So then Austria gives Serbia this unreasonable, really, ultimatum that there's no way the Serbians are going to accept at this point. The following day, or right around the same time, we have the Russians who are going to now declare war over here on Austria-Hungary. Because at this meanwhile, you've got the Austro-Hungarians who are moving their forces right up here to the Russian border. The Russians are going to declare war and start attacking right through here. This is going to draw the French into the fray over here. It's going to get the Germans drawn into the fray as well because they're fighting right through here, and this is going to be even more problematic. Now, we've got the Germans and we've got the French. Again, thinking back to their history, they've got some conflict. They're going to get involved in the situation right through here. Germany is wanting to go and invade into France. Now, the only problem is the French anticipate an invasion is going to be happening right here along the border. The Germans, trying to prevent this from happening and really don't think there's much of a chance of getting through that, are going to try to go through neutral Belgium right down in here into France. Now, this is when they go and they ask the Belgians, basically say, hey, we're going to invade France. We're going to come through your country. Is that okay? The Belgians are going to respond by saying no. Belgians, again, are good friends, good allies with the British right up in here. The British come into the picture at this point and say that if you invade neutral Belgium, who's not a part of the war on either side, we're going to get involved. The Germans, again, really don't listen to this, and they come in here, right through here, which now draws the British into the fray. This is really going to be the cause of World War I. Questions, comments, put them down below. Otherwise, good luck.